here, and welcome back to the Hair Show. I'm Dom Lahane, and I think we're now on episode 3. So great, we've all been just sitting here watching your comments coming in. So guys, keep them comments coming in. We are so excited to be here again, sharing this live online magazine show. And as I say, we are bringing you this every Monday. So many names, people we recognise coming in. So for the next hour or so, you are in for a treat. And remember, give us plenty of likes, give us loves, share the show, because as I always say every Monday, that this is your show. It's the Hairdressers Show. So we want to get your comments, get your questions coming in, get your likes. We see them all. And as I say, just a reminder, there is a little bit, about a 20-second delay. So sometimes you may be thinking they're a bit slow answering our questions. Well, that is the reason why. And also, I think this is really special tonight. Do you know why? Because I think we're on YouTube. So if you're there on YouTube, get some comments coming in, the How to Cut It YouTube channel as well. And I'm hoping we may be on LinkedIn too. So if you're there, it'd be great. But I know we're there in the Facebook How to Cut It page. So big hello to you all. And yeah, plenty of love coming in. So shall we go on to what is coming up in tonight's show? So here we go. Let's have a little peep of what's coming your way. So we are going to be kicking off tonight with something that you're all getting very used to, and that is the World Hair News. And this is where Jordanna Cobella comes onto the show, and she's going to share with you her latest news stories that she's been picking out over the last week or so. Then we have tonight Rock Up and Share, and this is where we showcase brilliant hairdressers, and we've got Daniel Grainger and Brooke Evans coming on for this. Something else that I know you all love, Breki with Belle. I'm seeing all the love coming in for Georgia. So Georgia is going to be sharing that, our resident agony aunt guru. Then we have Hairdressers Open Talk, and this is where we really go into hot talks in the industry, and we are going to have Lisa Maynard-Atem, and she is going to be having a conversation that's going to grab all our attention. It's one that we need to talk about. Then we're going to lighten things up, because we have a chance for you all to win a hamper of Inulux products worth, it says £157 there, sorry, it's £97. Then saying I'm very, very excited about sharing with you Masters at Work, Paul Stafford. He is going to be talking one of his most iconic haircuts with you. He's filmed this brilliantly for you, and I've seen this video. It is special. And then we have much, much more coming up. Going to have chat. But most of all, keep your comments coming in, because I'm going to pull them in. We're going to keep those things coming in all the way. So let's bring on my two fellow lovely hosts who join me every Monday. So let's see some love hearts as I welcome to the show Jordanna Cobella and Georgia Bell. There you both are. How are you?
Hi.
How's things then? So let's just have a look. We've got some great stuff coming in tonight. I've already just seen here from Daryl. Yes, Paul Stafford. So yeah, great stuff. But come on, what's been going on in your world, George, over the last week since last Monday?
Oh, do you know what, mate? I've been so busy. So we've been doing a huge rebrand and a refurb for the salon, and it's taken all my time, but we are super excited about it. I think, lockdown has given us a chance to sort of take a step back and realise what we need to do. And yeah, I actually don't even know what I'm going to do when we come back to work, because I've been that busy outside of work. I'm just not sure what we're going to do afterwards, to be honest. But yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah. And what about you, Jordanna?
So I've been working on some online education for Wella, some colour education. I'll be doing a live on Thursday on the Wella Global Hair Community page. And I've also been decorating the salon as well, but for the wrong reasons. And that's because I had a leak last week in the salon. So it was a bit all up in the air, but finally we've got to the bottom of the leak. So
what was the cause of the leak? I've got to ask.
It was a leaky pipe. And you know what? The salon is quite old, and I think the pipes are just 15, 20 years old. So a bit of a nuisance, because no one was there to see it. And I found it quite late on, but yeah. Thank God for paint and fresh paint, hey?
Yeah, exactly. I've just seen here from Amanda Lyon. Hi, Amanda. Lovely to see you here. She's just said, love the new salon. Cannot wait for it. George, where did that name come from? The Society, your new branding?
Yeah, so I think we all start out with something, don't we? And then we can kind of get on with it, and we can kind of realise that we're not really punching in the right direction. So a society means a group of people that come together with the same interests and the same passions, and that's something that I really feel that I've got in Rotherham already. So it's really kind of just sort of signifying that and moving it forward. Because it is, we've got a little cool movement, we've got a little cool society, so it just made sense to name it that for me, really.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm loving
Love
about
it.
this hair show already, guys? Is the variations of where you're coming in from in the world. So we've got Gazul, who's coming in from Chile, and then we've got James Curtin, who's just put, hi guys, from Scarborough. So hey, from Chile to Scarborough, fantastic. It's so great to have you all here. And if you are new to this show, honestly, this is a show that is dedicated to hairdressing, and every week we are going to be bringing you these, and I know the guys are loving it. But a big part of this show has already become really popular. You've been telling us that you enjoy this, and this is where we do the World Hair News, and our journalist is now Jordanna Cobella, searches out the stories. So we're going to go into World Hair News. Sit back as we listen in.
Everyone, today's world news is all about speculation, which has been circulating the hair news and industry around salons reopening earlier than the 4th of July. So far, there is no sign of the government actually releasing a statement to confirm this, and we've been speaking to a lot of our viewers this week and last week about, the general consensus, and it seems to be divided. Half of the people are panic buying PPE equipment, worrying that it may not arrive in time, and the other half of the industry are so excited and enthralled to have a date being brought earlier. So opinions divided. Wherever you stand on it, all we do know is that the National Hair and Beauty Federation has released a statement and daily updates, and that they have confirmed that there hasn't actually been any government statement announcing that we will be bringing that date forward. So for now, hold your horses. 4th of July still in the pipeline. If you want to stay up to date with everything, just follow NHSB on Instagram and they will keep you updated. Now, the news topic number 2 is something everyone's also been talking about. One of hairdressing industry's leading PR companies, LWPR, following the recent movement of campaigns against violence and systemic racism, Black Lives Matter. LWPR have announced that they are offering PR services completely free and consultancy services to any Black-owned salons and hairstylists who need it. Details on how to apply are online, but also you can email info@lwpr.biz. So thank you for that. News topic number 3, we have 10,000, more than 10,000 actually, 12,000 petition signatures that have been signed for a very pressing cause. Now, currently, the MVQ curriculum do not offer Afro hairdressing as part of their mandatory modules. And according to Jemima Bradley, aka Mullet Baby on Instagram, she has reached a staggering 12,000 petition signatures for this to actually happen. And once you get over 10,000, that means the government are actually obliged to review and see it forward. So thank you so much for that, Jemima. We'll actually be hearing a little video from Jemima at the end of the show, so please stay tuned. And that's all from me this week, guys.
Round of applause again, Jordanna. The pressure of doing the news, some great stories. And the first thing that I just want to say to everybody that is watching this, if you see any, if you've got some news and you would love to get it featured in the show, then, reach out, get in touch with us, info@howtocutIt. And I know Dan is watching in and he's our producer. He'll be putting links in there as well. So just keep an eye on those comments as we go through the show, and we're going to have a description for the competition. So there's going to be links in there for tonight's amazing competition giveaway prize. But let's go into this story, and I'm going to just, again, you see my eyes go up and down. It's just that I see your comments coming in down here, guys. And one of the big subjects that's coming up, and again, I'm talking about the UK. I know our friends in Australia are back, and various places, America are back. But here in the UK, we are working to July the 4th. There's been a lot of talk coming out about this, hasn't there, Jordanna, about, you know, the speculation around when we're going to be opening. What's your thoughts to this then?
There has, and you know, I'm actually quite divided myself, because obviously as salon owners we've had the date 4th of July in the back of our minds, or the forefront of our minds, for at least, you know, 5 weeks now. And so for us, we've been working towards that date. We've been you know, receiving deliveries and making the necessary provisions for it. So it can be unsettling to hear that that may be brought forward, particularly when we don't actually know the guidelines that we're going to be working with and what is going to be obligatory in terms of PPE. But of course, it is positive to know that they are thinking to bring it forward at the same time. It'll be interesting to hear what you guys have to say, so comment below.
Yeah, do keep those comments in, because again, we can't say this enough. It's a live show, magazine show, but your comments really do matter. We want those being brought into it. George, how are you setting yourself up? I mean, you've been rebranding your salon, and I know you've done a lot of changes. Do you see that date being 4th of July for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would. What I've done is, because I've done a huge rebrand and a refurb, is I've not actually set clients up on the 4th. So actually, with my team, if possible, we'll be coming in on the 4th, and we'll be doing each other's hair, and we'll be seeing the new salon set up, and we'll be having a discussion about what's expected moving forward. Because actually, I think we've been away from salon life so long that I think that actually to just go back on a date without any kind of planning or any kind of meeting would be a little bit silly. But that's for me personally. So actually on the 4th, we'll be like looking after each other, and then we'll be kind of moving forward from the 5th. But again, you know, we can't comment on this. And, you know, one of my staff is part-time and he works for the bank, and actually mortgages have been extended for another 3 months. So it's a little bit worrying. Like, we've kind of set ourselves to this date, but what happens if it's going to be another 3 months down the line? We can't, like, I'm not going to speculate and say that it is, but if you're going to extend mortgages and things like that, what happens if it is? It's quite scary.
Yeah, I mean, I've just seen here, I'll pull this comment up again, and thank you for this, Heather Robertson. She says the speculation, Jordanna, has been worse than anything. I think this is a real key thing, and I've certainly seen that in the How to Cut It hairdressing community as well. You know, people are really worried that one minute you're hearing this, and, you know, because it was it the Daily Mail that they said we were, you know, there was this rumours that we were going to go back in on the 16th of June. You know, I think what really comes out, and I've been saying this, is, you know, that speculation. I think that there's two people really to listen to, the government and the NHBF, isn't it? They're the ones that seem to communicate, and you pulled that up in your story.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would just like to know a definite date. Like, before you know that, you can't really say anything, can you? Like, I would not like to say, you know, everyone's speculating over certain dates, but I think a definite date for everyone to move forward would be really beneficial.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there's a lot of people out there that suffer from anxiety, and what we have to deal with COVID is anxiety driven enough. But not having any guidelines and not really being kind of kept in the dark is something all salon owners and freelancers and all hairdressers are probably having to deal with right now. So the best thing we can do is stay up to date with the National Hairdressers Federation, try and plan as much as you can. But the good news is, whether we have 2 weeks or 4 weeks left, or 3.5 actually, online educational platforms we are going to share with you today. Now, the links are going to be plugged into the comments here, but also plugged into the How to Cut It community Facebook page as well. Because as we approach the last month of lockdown, we have devised and put together an amazing list of free education. Now, this takes the form of YouTube channels. It can be particular websites. It's for styling hair, colouring hair, textured hair, Afro hair, all of those educational online free classes that you can now fill your time with as we approach the last month of lockdown. So we're going to be sharing that with you now. I think Dan is going to do that, or I'm going to do that. Either way, do give it a good old sift through, because I think there's something for everyone in that list.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, all of you watching in, even if you watch in later on Catch Up, all the comments and links that you are going to need will be in the show description, as well as the comments. So Dan's there. Great comments coming in already. Loving that. Colin McAndrew, NHBF have been awesome. So a lot of respect. And you touched upon it, obviously, with Black Lives as well, Jordanna. We're not going to go too much into that, because I know we've got a big talk coming from, a good friend of the show, Lisa Maynard-Atem, on Black Lives. It's been a big week, and well, I mean, it's a subject that needs discussing. We want to obviously go into that a little bit more later on. So we're going to kind of just lighten things up a little bit, guys. And a big part of the show, as I said at the very start, is Rock Up and Share. And Rock Up and Share is exactly that. This is where we are now inviting, or get in touch with us, if you want to showcase your hair talents in around about 2 minutes. All right, you can be creative as you want. Have you got a haircut that you'd like to do? Have you got a hair up colour? That's what we do. Well, this I really love, and I'm so excited to have on for this Rock Up and Share, ladies. We're going to be having a hairdresser that many of you adore, and I hope you adore him just for his hairdressing alone, but it gives me great delight to introduce you to our next Rock Up and Share, which is Daniel Grainger. Wow, I just saw that comment there. I'll bring that back up again. Fabulous. How good. Daniel Grainger. So thank you to Daniel for doing that video. Wasn't that absolutely brilliant? And, this is what these Rock Up and Shares are about. We wanted to put these together as, rather than giving you long educational videos, which are great, and we have a place for it. The whole point of this show is to give it quite snappy and moving, and it was great to see. And yeah, I mean, we're already getting some lovely comments there. Sinead says, absolutely love this. What did you think to it, George? You saw that?
Do you know what, mate? Dan's been doing some great education in lockdown. He's been doing some great free education as well. And, you know, in actual fact, he's somebody that I follow, and I have actually got some education booked with him after lockdown. I just think, you know, the way that he cuts, the way that he explains things is so therapeutic. And I think that's really, really important, that he's not trying to go above anyone else. He's just trying to explain it in a way that everyone's going to understand, and I love it. And his haircuts are amazing, and I love his story. I love his background story, and I love his ethos, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm going to just say to you, Jordanna, I mean, I think that's really important what George just said, that know somebody's story. And I know I cover this a lot in the podcast, that you've got to know who you are and what you are. And, you know, Dan is very clear about what he is as a hairdresser. And, you know, what advice would you give to people about that?
Well, I would say that more and more we see hairdressers creating their own brand and their own identity, and not necessarily off the back of their own salon brands. So it's really, really refreshing to see education coming from individuals in their own right who who are building reputation in their own right and have such an interesting way of educating, because it removes you from being, let's say, a brand ambassador for a certain products or whatever, and you connect to that hairdresser and relate to them in a much more different way, to maybe following a brand. And I'm really loving it. I'm loving the success that people are getting from the amount of skill that they have. And, you know, also in light of what we were saying before, it has been incredible to see how many of you on social media are offering free online education during lockdown. Whether or not that continues, it has been amazing. So thank you to each and every one of you, because you've really lifted the spirits. You've given something for us to be motivated by. So thank you.
Yeah, I love that from Daryl. Preach, Jordanna, so true, he says. It's great. It really has been good. And I think so many of you are just really grabbed this digital time and thought, you know what? I'm going to have a go at this. And even if you've been doing lives, however you've been doing it, it's maybe giving you a confidence to take that skill and maybe, you know, grow a business out of this going forward. And I think, like I say, know your story, know who you are, and be really passionate about it. And it's a very exciting time, I think, to see people do this. And I think it's really important that you keep that going, that you don't stop this. You know, we've entered a new era, and I know we get back into the salons, but keep this going. It really is something very special. So thank you.
I've got one quote to share with you. Sorry, real quick, Dom.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I follow a business leader called Simon Sinek, and he always says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And for anyone who's looking to build a brand like that, and to build their following off their own back, always remember the why, and don't necessarily just remember the why. Share the why, because it's those stories that people relate to, and it's those stories that will keep you in the front of someone's memory. So
Here. Honestly, you great words, ladies. Really, really good. Just again, if you're interested on anything that Daniel's doing, it's Perfectionist. I know he has his online academy, and I know he's got his academy, which I think he's going to be opening his doors. So do reach out to Daniel. He's a very, very approachable guy. Really, really good. And for somebody who's a TV celebrity as well, then he knows his roots still. So we're now going to move on, and we're going to move on to a part that I know you all enjoy. Yeah, Breki with Belle. So I'm going to let Georgia just lead you into this, and then we're going to go into Breki with Belle.
Absolutely, guys. So welcome to the third episode of Breki with Belle. You know, I've had so much fun doing this, and actually I've had a lot of stories this week and a lot of dilemmas that have kind of led me to believe that maybe once a month we might do hairdressing horrors, just because I've had such a laugh. But without further ado, I will do Breki with Belle. Remember, if you've got any questions or dilemmas, it's completely confidential and you remain absolutely anonymous.
Here goes.
To the third episode of Breki with Belle. Remember, darlings, I need your dilemmas and I need your DMs. Remember, it stays completely confidential and you remain absolutely anonymous. So guys, this week's episode is actually really focused on education. I've had some amazing questions. So question number 1 is, do I like practicing on dolls' heads? Yes, absolutely. I think if you want to try a new technique, a new application, and actually using a doll's head is the best way to go about it. It's also the safest. Now, I've been doing a lot of education online on dolls' heads. And just from a point of view, if you're wanting to do a lot of colour work, I always recommend you get your doll's head from Pivot Point because it means that the hair is good quality and you can reuse them quite a few times over. So, question number 2. This is a really hairdressing focus, but I'm going to change it round and make sure that it is. Who is your favourite Irish person? So, my favourite Irish hairdresser is Damien Johnson, and he's the guy that actually cuts my hair. He's amazing at what he does. So, question number 3 is, will I be back educating around the world after lockdown, or will I be salon focused? Now listen guys, we have had a lot of time away from the salon and we have got a lot of clients that we need to see to. So yes, I am hoping to be back doing education, but more towards the back end of this year. I definitely need to spend some time in my salon. I'm having a huge refurb, a huge rebrand, and I definitely need to be and want to be salon focused for at least 4 or 5 months, and then I think education will slowly start picking up. But yeah, definitely salon focused. So, question number 4, like I said, this week's episode is quite education focused. What are my thoughts on online versus face-to-face education? Now listen, I love online education. I've done lots of it myself. I've participated in lots of it myself, and I'm in no doubt that it's helped a lot of you guys through lockdown. However, I am a huge fan of face-to-face. I think when you're in the room with an educator, you can really see things from a different angle. You can really get a feel for what that educator's doing. So I believe there is a place for both. I started online education because I wanted to make things more affordable and accessible for people, but I don't think you can beat a day face-to-face with your favourite educator.
I hope you enjoy that. Jordanna, what do you reckon watching into George's Breki with Belle?
I just love the types of comments that you get. They just range from all aspects of everyday hair salon life. And as we all know, as we all live it, it's a juicy world that we live in. So keep them coming, guys. Georgia's got an array of experience in order to answer them with her charm. So thanks for writing in.
I will always say out, if you please don't always follow George's advice. So she's just given her personal opinion on that. I think that's always important to know. But those questions, you almost think, I mean, I love the one last week. What was it? Sleeping with the boss, the receptionist sleeping with the boss? But these are questions that are coming in, aren't they, George?
Absolutely, and I get an array of them. But please, if you ever read the Sun newspaper and you ever followed Dear Deirdre, then please know that I do not have a qualification in this. This is just what I would do on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, it is a little bit of fun, but of course, if I do always whenever I receive a question or a dilemma guide, I know that we've got limited time on this, so I can only give a limited answer, and I will always inbox somebody. I will give a more in-depth answer because I think it's important, because a lot of people do face these problems, they face these dilemmas, but I am not a shrink. I'm not here to say that this is definite, but I have lived a life, and I would hope that I would be able to give you the best advice possible.
I've just seen a comment there, George. Sorry, I'm laughing. Brian McCallum is just, are you not supposed to sleep with your boss? Honestly, look, hairdressers, let's keep this professional, please. We have some... my mother watches this, so come on. But absolutely, there was a question there that I loved, actually. Irish person, who's your favourite Irish person? Irish hairdressing has just gone absolutely mega over the last year, and I've certainly noticed that through the podcast. And you mentioned Damien. What a great guy Damien is. Brilliant cutter.
I fly to Belfast. And I get my hair cut by Damien, and I pay the £100 for my haircut, and I pay for my flight because his haircut is amazing. When you find your true hairdresser, it's a really special thing. And I have to say that, you know, and he is my hairdresser.
God, that's
he
a big
cuts my hair like no other.
Big statement.
Wow.
That's always think, isn't it? Who you go to? Who's your hairdresser then, Jordanna? Do you have one particular hairdresser in the salon?
Yeah. One of our art directors, Adam, who's a very, very close family friend of mine. He's been with Cobella for 26 years. He'll hate me for saying that, but yeah, he cuts my hair.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Do you know who cuts my hair?
Go on, Dom.
I'd say it's a professional called Dom. Yeah, honestly. He's very, very good. So, look, guys, keep the comments coming in. The show is just feeling so right. And the feedback that you've all been giving to the hair show has been just terrific. So if you are liking this, please do like, love, share this out. We want this really to go far. And it takes a lot of work putting this show in and doing lives. And I've just seen our friend here, Simon Townley. I saw your Simon's there. Let's pick up there. But I just want to reference Simon because I'm so impressed with what Simon's done over the last lockdown as well with his group, Hair Socials. And I think we've been on there, haven't you, George? You went on to the Hair Socials, done a live there.
Yeah, I was on there. I think what he's done is amazing. And we were talking about, you know, free hairdressing links for free education. I have to say, like, Hair Social is undoubtedly the best. Like, I'm not saying that because I'm on there, but I wanted to get immediately involved because of the quality of people that are teaching on there. It's been absolutely amazing. And I think what he's done, you know, I met Simon when I worked with him with the brand like about a year ago, but what he's done has been really inspirational, and I really admire him for putting the time in and creating such an incredible platform for people to follow, especially in lockdown when people are financially struggling. Amazing.
And he's going to come on
and
to
it's
my
also
podcast.
The conversation that keeps going, you know, with the community and sharing each other's concerns and bouncing ideas or energies off each other, which I think is really important at a time where we can't even meet up.
He's become famous overnight, and Simon never wanted to become famous.
And he's so humble with it, isn't he? He's always humble. So, Simon, lots of love coming to you, mate. Yeah, come on, stop it, he says. Yeah, right. Come on. Enjoy it while you can, Simon. It doesn't last forever, honestly, but it's fantastic. So, again, keep the comments coming in. Keep the likes coming in. We've got the competition coming up very soon to win InnoLux. We're going to be announcing last week's winner of the Kerra Straight hamper. So if you entered that, it could be you. And the forms to enter all our competitions are in the description to this show. And I think Dan will be putting stuff in there. And again, you don't have to do it even just tonight. You can do this on catch up as well. So it's been a big week. It's you know, unless you've been stuck in some sort of cave for the last sort of week or so, you will see that there's been a really difficult time with Black Lives, but it's been something that's been pushed to our attention, and rightly so. I think it's something that needs covering, and we have got a friend of our show, somebody came on to my podcast last week to be our Hairdressers Open Talk guest, and this is where we bring you big subjects, all right, hot topics to really get conversations going. And this one, I please ask you that you sit and watch this, and it's hard hitting, but it's something that we all need to hear. So without further ado, this week's Hairdressers Open Talk with Lisa Maynard-Atem.
Hi everyone, I hope that you are all safe and well. So firstly, introductions. My name is Lisa Maynard-Atem, and I am the founder of The Social Word, an agency that specialises in social media strategy. I am also 1/3 of the branding brainstorm alongside Georgia Bell and Carver Johnson. Now I'm here on the Hair Show tonight to talk briefly about a subject that is very close to my heart, because it is something that has affected me my entire life, and that subject is racism. Now, I'm sure by now you have all seen the horrendous video of the murder of George Floyd. I mean, I don't even have the words to describe how traumatic seeing that video was. But the saddest thing about it for me was that it wasn't surprising. It's not the first time it's happened. And it won't be the last. That's the first thing to say. You know, we just have to be really honest about this. And what I find quite interesting about this whole subject is the the argument around the whole Black Lives Matter. Now, whenever some people, not everyone, but whenever some people hear that phrase, they respond with, well, all lives matter. And in principle, all lives should matter. But in the cold light of day, all lives don't matter. Because if all lives did matter, George Floyd would still be alive. If all lives did matter, Sandra Bland would still be alive. If all lives did matter, Trayvon Martin would still be alive. If all lives really did matter, racism wouldn't even be a thing. It wouldn't exist. People wouldn't care about this. If they wouldn't give it a second thought. But the reality is, all lives don't matter. And George Floyd, as much as I hate to say this, was one in a long line of innocent Black people who have lost their lives as a result of this. They're not criminals, they're not terrible people, they haven't done anything horrendously wrong. Their crime, to some, was being Black. You know, and watching this might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Good, you should be uncomfortable. Why? Because racism is completely wrong. And these few minutes of you feeling uncomfortable is what I and many other people of colour have felt our entire lives. We are constantly uncomfortable. You walk down the street, somebody makes monkey noises at you. You walk into a shop and people start following you. Why? Is this really a threat to people? No. The colour of my skin is not a threat to you, just like the colour of your skin is not a threat to me. I'm not going to sit here and bang on. All I'm going to say is all lives should matter, but all lives currently don't. It's not enough to just say that you are against racism. We all have a responsibility to be openly anti-racist. If you encounter any instances of racism, please stand up to them, even if it's just a comment. It's not okay to just let any form of racism slide. It's not all right. And it's gone on for far too long. For hundreds of years, Black people have faced systemic racism and oppression, all because of this. You know, and from an industry point of view, and not just the hair industry, there needs to be more representation. I have lost count of the amount of times in the past I've been into salons, oh, we don't do Afro hair. Why don't you do Afro hair? Why? Is it that different? It's still hair. And like I say, it's not just the hair industry, it's the fashion industry, it's the beauty industry. It needs to stop. There needs to be equality, there needs to be fairness, there needs to be parity. Like I say, if you are uncomfortable watching this, this is a few moments of discomfort for you. This is my entire life. And the reality is, I will have to live with racism for the rest of my life, as will other people of colour. So please, if you see anybody being racially attacked, please stand up for them. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.
Big subject.
Yeah.
You know, it's a subject, and I'm so thank you, Lisa, firstly, for coming on and doing today's Hairdressers Open Talk. I think I could not have thought of anybody better to have delivered that. She delivered it in such a beautiful way. It was emotional. It was powerful. It's been well covered. And where are you at with this, Jordanna? What's been going on?
Well, I think a lot of what she has said, number one, is so incredibly moving. But I really resonate with the fact that she said, if you feel uncomfortable watching this, if you feel uncomfortable listening to the words that I'm saying, and also sharing her personal experiences, then I think you're kind of feeling the right thing. And it's just such a shame that it's taken another Black life to be ended innocently, for us to actually start this movement properly. And I don't know about you guys and everyone that's listening, but it feels slightly different this time. Not because of all the black squares that people have posted, not because there's a bit of a social trend on hashtags, but because I've spoken to a lot of my friends and I've spoken to a lot of our community about it, and it seems to be hitting us harder than ever before. And I think it is so important to realise that this is not just something we'll be talking about today. We need to do this every day, and we need to literally live this, because they've been living it for that long. And this is not about black people standing up for what they believe in. This is about white people finally feeling their pain and doing something about it, even if it is so small, like, calling someone out that may innocently say something, or, endorsing something about the MVQ, like signing a petition. There's so much we can do, and it doesn't end at donating or one protest. It's continuous.
She mentioned there, George, about salons, not being able to do black textured hair.
It's about learning to understand each other, and it's about learning to stand together. And that's not just in everyday life, but that is within our industry. And, actually, we have had a petition signed by 10,000 people this week that want to introduce doing black hair into salons, and rightly so, because actually, you know what? Black hair is different. And if we're not taught it, then automatically, if we say, I'm so sorry, we don't do it, it's going to form a type of equality that isn't there. So if it's already on the curriculum, then actually that's going to give inclusion. And that's what we want. I don't do black hair because I don't specialise in it. I specialise in colour. But that isn't racist. That's because I don't know about it, and I've never been taught about it. So actually, we need a curriculum out there that's going to be inclusive of everybody. And that is going to help us stand together as one and not separately. So there isn't going to be, black people doing hair. We're going to be doing all types of hair together as one. And we're going to be standing up together and saying, this is what we do. This is what we believe. And I think that's really important moving forward.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think our end goal, particularly for the hairdressing industry, our end goal would be to have interracial salons. Because why is it fair that a black assistant will have to learn Caucasian hair before they learn about their own hair, Afro hairdressing? And why? So when we walk into an Afro hair shop, we know if they've got NVQ qualifications that they can do our hair. And why is that okay? And you know what, is something that not a lot of people actually knew, and not a lot of people considered until now. But regardless of whether you've had that revelation now or before, let's do something about it. And I think power is in numbers. So let's sign the petitions and start a movement.
There's some great
and
comments.
So many people have stood together this week. Like, look at the protests. So many people have stood and respected what's going on, and that's what it needs.
Yeah, and I'm going to just finish on this. A good friend of ours in the show, she's our feature guest, is Jemima Cousins. And if you saw the first hair show pilot show that we done, she done a review, and she's going to be coming in much more regularly to the show. But I actually had a phone call with Jemima on this, and I wanted to talk to her about it. And I think she said it perfectly for me, that this shouldn't be just a box that we tick and we feel like we've done this. We don't do this for vanity. We do it because it's right, okay? We do it because it feels right. And this has to be just something that's interwoven into our industry. And yes, we've got to become better at doing textured hair. It's something that maybe a lot of us are guilty of, and we've all got to do our part in this. But equally, we are all in this together. We are human beings who are all got to just show love. I mean, in a world where it's so strained as it is out there, I just feel, together we're good. So thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you, everybody. Look, there's Lisa, who's just given us some thank yous. Honestly, we're all supporting everybody on this one. So we are going to just move things along a little bit now. And we have a lovely part of our show every week is our friends, our supporters of the show, and big shout out to Jez Barnett, who is the founder of Kerastrait and InnoLux. And last week we had a wonderful competition giveaway. To enter these, you have to fill out a form, which is in the show description, and we are going to announce that winner tonight, and I'm going to let Jordanna Cobella do this. And just a reminder before I hand that into Jordanna, this prize is also going to go towards an end of the month prize. So far we've currently got the what have we got? We've got the Weller hamper, we've got the Kerastrait hamper, all going to be together, and we've got another prize coming up. But anyway, I'm going to hand this over to George. So Georgia, Georgia. Okay, so George, so yeah, let's hand this over to you. Sorry, I've got my teeth all mixed up.
I was thinking, is Jordanna going to know what she's going to say? Right, firstly, I want to say a massive thank you to Kerastrait, because altogether they have given all of their product to us, including the moisture mist, the ultimate oil, like you name it, we've got it, and it's the amount of £157. So the winner is Stacey Gade. So we want to say a massive thank you to Stacey for entering, and you are the winner this week. Also, guys, just a quick one. With the Kerastrait, there is an affiliate code. So if you go on to kerastrait.com and you go into the affiliate desktop and you type it in, you can actually sell Kerastrait through their website, and you can gain a percentage of that. So that will keep you going through lockdown. But yeah, a massive thank you to Stacey Gade. You are the winner this week. And I'm going to pass it over to Jordanna, who's going to announce this week's competition.
So this week's competition, if you are just as obsessed as we are with healthy hair and glass-looking hair and shine, then you are in for a winner, because this week is sponsored by InnoLux, who have very generously donated a package worth to the value of £97. So we have the Elixir V2 product and the Platinum shampoo, conditioner and mask, which I've used myself, and it makes your hair feel like silk. So if you want to stand a chance to win, please just fill out the Google document form, which is going to be linked in the comments below. So yeah, go ahead, guys. Simple as that.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, what a brilliant video. Absolutely loved that there. It was so creative. If you want to be our lucky winner, which will be announced next week, please just fill out the form below. It's just your name, email address, simple as that. Now, also, the InnoLux prize will also be added to the bundle, which at the end of every month, we take all of the weekly hampers, put them together, and one lucky winner wins all of them. So there's one prize for next week's winner, but also one bundle of InnoLux that goes into the end monthly competition prize as well. So guys, entering. Next up, we have our Rock Up and Share contestant, who has very kindly sent us one of her how-to videos. This is Brooke Evans by the who is actually also a member of the Fame team. Am I right in saying that, Dom?
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Brooke Evans. Here is the video. Wow.
Weren't that proper good? Well done, Brooke.
So
I
good.
love Brooke Evans. She is honestly a superstar hairdresser in the making, and such a lovely girl with it. I had the pleasure to interview her for the podcast and learn about her story, but also what we learnt about was her being in the current Fame team. And we have Jordanna Cobella with us, who's a former Fellowship Fame team member. So
Yeah.
what was that like, Jordanna?
I can't believe it was actually 3 years ago, but it was life-changing, if I'm honest. It was an incredible platform that basically puts you on a journey of a year's worth of education. It's run by the Fellowship, which is an organisation. You can find more details of thefellowshiphair.com.co.uk. So you travel the world, you get mentored by the hairdressing's finest, and more importantly, you pair up with three like-minded individuals who are dotted around the UK and Wales. And it's just an amazing journey because you get to share ideas, you get to come out of the salon and do and delve into different parts of hairdressing like fashion and avant-garde, and it's just amazing. It changed my life. So if it's something you guys want to do and want to enter, you have to be under the age of 35, sorry. But enter if you want.
Okay, I'll maybe have to pass that opportunity on. But brilliant. I just saw Daryl saying he would love to go for that going forward. George, what about you? Is this something that would ever grab you being part of the Fellowship Fame team?
Well, to be honest, mate, I don't actually win anything. Like, no, I'm not going to go for the Fame team because it's the hardest competition ever, but it is the most rewarding. You know, I think it's fantastic. I think what Brooke showed tonight was a fantastic textured look. I think there were so many different techniques with it, and I think it was amazing. I'm more drawn to colour, and I think that, you know, the Fame team is definitely drawn to styling. So I think it depends on what floats your boat. But if you want to elevate yourself within the industry, then the Fame team is definitely something to go for.
Yeah.
And here's a question actually for you, George. You might be able to answer this one. It comes from our good friend Alina, who's a big friend of the show. I hope it's not only for UK stylists. What's the situation on that one? I don't know.
I don't think it is. I think it's a bit like X Factor. If you're good, you'll get through. but you got to be under 35.
yeah, it's definitely inclusive. Like, yeah, it's the whole of the UK and Ireland, as I believe it is. The only reason being that obviously, if you're in the same country, that you can actually go to and attend the monthly meetings, and I think sometimes even fortnightly meetings and inspiration days. They do.
Yeah, Jordanna, I was part of the Colour Project as well, so we had monthly meetings. So if you are from another country, and I know Elaine is from, I believe it's Cyprus, so she'd have to be in the UK to meet for a monthly meeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might be quite awkward in that sense to get the most out of what the fellowship are giving to you.
Yeah. I believe Australia do it as well, don't they? The Australian Fame team, and I think you swap over, don't you? They come over to the UK, and I know the Fame team go to Australia. So yeah, great. It's I think it's great. I think it's having these opportunities outside, the confines of our salon, which is what's so good to see. And I think if it helps create that real artistry part of you in the industry, then that's got to be a great thing. And that leads us on to really our main feature part of the show, which is our Masters at Work, and these have proved extremely popular. This is something that we kind of put to what we define as real hairdressing icons, award-winning hairdressers. So far we've had Jordanna's mum, Beverly C., formerly Cobella. We have had last week Patrick Cameron, which we had a problem with the video, but we have shared that. Go and check that out. This one tonight, I promise you are going to have a 5-minute fest of absolute incredible work. Paul Stafford. All right, now please show your love for Paul Stafford. One, what an absolute beautiful man he is. So stylish, so incredibly talented. I love watching his work, and he has done this video for you, and he's going to share the story behind this real defining moment in his hairdressing career, and he's going to explain that to you. So please just watch, and please show your love to Paul Stafford, who has, again, I'm going to remind you of this, he has done this video for us guys and you watching this. All right, so here goes Masters at Work with Paul Stafford.
Amazing.
When I first did the fly haircut, I had already been working on a lot of shapes and ideas that I had gone back to my youth and my childhood, my teenage years, and I had revisited those looks with a view that I wanted to try and maybe do something new with them or reinterpret them. So for me, it wasn't actually as if I was trying to create something really original. I just wanted to take a little step backwards to move forwards. The fly was a haircut that I'd seen numerous times on friends of mine in the late 70s and early 80s. Probably started its life as the Chelsea haircut, the skin bird, and maybe even the feather cut. So for me, the fly it's an evolution of those shapes. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to recreate a version of the fly that we're going to do in a very technical way. We're going to do a step-by-step, recreate the kind of mindset of what I was thinking the very first time I've done it, but maybe we'll add a few little twists and turns to make it modern for you. Okay, so we start the haircut by really disconnecting the top section from the longer lengths, and this is pivotal to the shape. It creates a really nice flatness through this area, and that's going to allow this to float and disconnect and look really ethereal. Early in 2016, in actual fact it was the day David Bowie died, and as I was working with the model that I decided to create the fly on, when she got up and walked through the salon, the little pieces that we'd left behind, those little feathery bits, started to float. I decided then that I'd call it the fly, and that's how it got its name. What we're moving into now is the main body of the haircut, and this is the area probably that is most pivotal to that skin bird Chelsea shape. This area from the crown to the occipital bone is where the biggest amount of disconnection is going to happen. So what we really want is we want that perfect roundness through the shape. We want it so it really fits into the head, and so that all this length that we've left behind, it will float and move around and do lots of interesting things. And this is where the haircut gets interesting, because you can see immediately you've got that proper kind of feather cut feel to it. We developed the haircut and it became, you know, less of that raw street culture type shapes, that DIY haircut. It became something a lot more commercial, something that was more user friendly. So through the exterior of the haircut, what I've done is I've just kept those corners. If you can imagine, I've created like a little A-line layer. All of a sudden it just seemed, this thing had gone viral. People were commenting on it, they were liking it. It had been shared lots of times. It changed my life in some ways, because people started to identify that as our work. That became the trademark haircut, the signature haircut. So now you can see why we call it the teardrop. It's just got that really nice kind of push forward. It's got that lovely movement. You can see the center piece where we've left the weight is creating the kind of the concave of that shape and pushing it down into that lovely kind of softer finish. We don't want the disconnection to be so obvious. It looks like a short haircut that's stopped and it's become a long haircut. And that's the beauty of this shape. So coming to the last part of the haircut, what I'm actually going to do is this little disconnected fly that we've left at the back. It's really simple. All we got to do is blend that through to the section just between the eye socket and the ear. So that's pretty much the basic shape finish. We've obviously got a little bit more detail and a bit more personalising to do with it, and we'll do that when we've had it coloured, because I think for me with these shapes it's the colour that's going to put it together. It's what's going to give it that personality and make it look like something that people want to wear. But I think with colour, what it does is it gives it a more individualistic personality. It brings it up to date, makes it look like something unique. And I think with the colour placement on the fly particularly, I think it's important, because really what you want to emphasise is obviously the little elements of disconnection, but also the personality of the haircut. So that's our updated version of the fly. It's been an absolute pleasure doing the new reworked fly for you guys, and I hope you like it. Just before lockdown happened, we managed to get the new Denman campaign sHAIR wrapped up and finished, which we shot in Dublin, and it's something I'm really excited about for the future. I can't wait to share that with you when it drops. But the wonderful thing about sHAIR was, out of nowhere, we reinvented the fly again. This one was very inspired by two things. Billie Eilish had that great look where, you know, she had the green and black hair, and we really wanted to capture an essence of that for this campaign. The other thing too was I started to become very inspired by 50s things. So we had Billie Eilish, then we had rockabilly. So the Billie fly is a whole new look, a whole new idea. And we're going to show you a little snippet of that on this, so you can get a bit of an essence of where we've taken an idea, developed it, and made it into something completely different. And that's the future of the fly, and that's what we're looking forward to in 2020, sharing with you. I hope you've enjoyed my little history of a haircut. Thank you for having us, and enjoy the fly.
Oh, wow. That man, Paul Stafford. So thank you. Another big round of applause, everybody. Lots of love for Paul Stafford. Brilliant, Paul. Thank you so much for doing that video. Honestly, I spoke to Paul last Sunday, and he was like, right, okay, Dom, and he really was as honest to say that haircut has triggered something new for him. It's the first haircut that he's done in some weeks, and for him to go back and explore that fly, which is just so cool. The man is cool. I love everything about his street culture. I mean, you know, that's where he gets it from, isn't it, George?
Yeah, like, oh, honestly, that guy is so cool. And you know something that I really love? I love how he modernises everything that he sees from a regression from what he finds cool. And I think that's like, I find that really real. I find it real genuine that he likes an era, he looks at it, and then he progresses it forward. And for me, that really is a master at work.
Yeah, and Kelly's just said there, so amazing to watch. And wouldn't you agree, Jordanna, that Paul Stafford knows who he is? He's created this such a cool, everything is so styled, even the backdrop there. You know, I love the Paul Weller influences, and you can see British culture really came into, his thinking, even, with the fly haircut. Jordanna.
I lost you there, guys.
Did you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just saying that the whole influence of Paul and where he gets it from British street culture, you can see, Paul Weller skins, and it all really has a big sort of influence for him. And it's so important that you find something that really connects with you, wouldn't you say, Jordanna?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, a lot of the time in the salon, we're sort of churning out clients one after the other. And it's not until you actually have the time to do something creative that you delve into the why. We were talking about this earlier, isn't it? The why, what inspires you? Because when you have a story behind something, it becomes art. Whereas I've definitely been guilty of doing a lot of haircuts where it's kind of, you can do it with your eyes closed. But what's so nice about Paul is that he really delves into every single element that inspires him. And it really showed throughout that video.
Go on, George, sorry. Go on, go for it.
I have to say, Jordanna, there's a lot of, like what we said, there's a lot of disconnection, but a lot of connection. And I know that somebody, I go to somebody that does my hair that used to work for Paul, and there's a lot of disconnection in my haircut, but there's a reason for it, which I think is really on point, and I think is really important, because people can disconnect and they can take away and it can have no rhyme or reason. But actually, when people do it in my haircut, they do it for a reason, even though it looks like a visual. It's there to help me style my hair. And I think that that's what's really important about Paul and his brand, that there's a reason behind all of that and the way that they cut and the strategic behind it. I think that's really great.
I think there's heaps of disconnections in every part of the haircut, but what is amazing is how he makes it look invisible and it just pleats out. So amazing.
And a big shout to the colour as well. I know it's his wife who done the hair colour there, and it looks just stunning. Everything was just beautifully done. And again, that video, so we're going to put that onto all our channels as well. So if you want to go and see that, I think Paul has actually created a 10 to 15 minute video. So if you want to watch that a bit more in depth, we will be sharing that onto the How to Cut It YouTube channel, because we are on YouTube tonight, which is amazing. I don't know if many are watching on there, but we're there anyway. So go and check out these channels. It's really important. And I'd like you to put in the comments below, who would be your masters at work? Who's your hairdresser that you think I'd love to see on there? So come on, tag them in, put them in them comments. And also, who would be your rising stars? Who do you want to see more of? Get your comments in. Come on. This is your show, the Hairdressers Show. So we're kind of coming towards the end now of what has been, I have to say, wonderful evening. I'm just enjoying it. And so far, fingers crossed, all our connections, ladies, have held up pretty well. So that's great news. And, the show is evolving. That's what it's about. And it's you guys and so many regular faces coming in here. And that's great. That's the community that we want to bring with this show. And we spoke about earlier on, Jordanna, in your news about the signatures, the campaign to get in textured hair in there, and we're doing something every week, or excuse me, nearly every week, where we're kind of handing a bit of an award as such, aren't we? So can I just let you explain a little bit about this, Jordanna, as we go into the video?
Of course. So each week, at the end of every episode, we want to celebrate and give recognition to the individuals out there in the hair community who are our unsung heroes. These are people doing something in the background, doing something for their community, and what have you. And there's so many different ways that people can do that. So last week we had the Hair Brothers, who have put together a 100-page document on how to wear your hair at home in exchange for any NHS donations that they donated all to the NHS. So thank you for that, Hair Brothers. This week, a very, very special guest, Jemima Bradley, and she is also known as Mullet Baby on Instagram. Now, I've worked very closely with Jemima. She's a wonderful and talented young rocket in the industry. She recently, in light of recent events, has actually put together a petition, which takes a lot of courage, and has put it out there on her Instagram account. She shared it, she's got other people to share it, and the petition is all about, as we said in the start of the show, having NVQ mandatory curriculum to include Afro hair. So thank you so much, Jemima. This week's Unsung Hero Award goes to you. So thank you so much. We've got 12,000 petitions already signed, which means the government will be overviewing it. But please, if you haven't signed it, head over to Mullet Baby on Instagram and give it a sign. So Jemima, here's your video. Thank you again.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for this nomination. It means so much to have this issue recognised in this kind of way, and something that really needed to happen, so thank you. We've just got over 10,000 signatures now, which is incredible, because it means, you know, the government have to act, there's no choice. So thank you so much to everyone that has signed, and thank you for, you know, for you guys having me on here to be able to discuss this kind of matter. It's really a conversation that needs to be happening. Thank you again, back to you guys.
Well done, Jemima. Absolutely fantastic. Dan has gone into the comments there, guys. So that petition, there's a link directly there. So go and get that in, because I think we've all got to get it. I mean, it's been well discussed. And if you feel that there is somebody out there in hairdressing who's doing something really, really good, then get in touch with us and let us put the spotlight on them, because we like to finish on a little bit of a high. People that are doing great things, don't we, George? It's so nice that, you know, we're a caring industry as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've got to do things to make a change. We can sit there and think about how we're going to do things and not actually do anything. But, you know, Jemima's really got out there. She's made this petition. She's made people sign it. You know, there's almost 12,000 signatures, and that's got to stand for something, you know. And if we want equality and we want to stand against racism and we want to make a change, then this is the way forward. And everyone has the potential to do that, which is just amazing. I absolutely salute her.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, Jemima. Yeah, and I think, guys, we need your help to find all the other unsung heroes out there, because they are hiding. So please, nominate whoever it is, send us an email, send us a slide into our DMs or what have you, because we want to celebrate you guys and we want to bring some recognition and we want to use our platform in a social responsible way. And we're so aware of people that, you know, do things out there without always receiving like gratitude. And this is our way of saying thank you.
Yeah,
and sometimes it can be hard to nominate yourself as well. But if you really feel like you're out there and you're making a change and you're doing something to make a change, then please don't hesitate to email us at How to Cut It or message Dom or slide into my DMs, because I want to know. You know, it's not, you know, if you feel like you're doing something to make a change, there's no harm in nominating yourself either. It's all about being in it together and pushing forward for a more positive, inclusive industry.
Yeah, and that's what we're all about here at the Hair Show. We really are. I think each one of us, and I know all you guys that are listening and watching into this, feel the same. And the better we make our industry, the better we're all going to be in our lives, and happiness and fulfillment. We have a massive part to play, I believe, going forward on this. So very easy. If you want to get in touch in anything, if you want to submit a video, you want to just get some ideas on how to get involved, email info@howtocut.it, not .com, .it, all right? Because as I always say, the domain howtocutit.com wasn't available, so we went for that one because it sounded smart. So get in touch, all right? And yeah, let us know your news. Let us know what you want in this show, all right? Put your comments in the community Facebook page, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you're seeing it, and let us know what do you want more of, because you have to help us create this show, all right? We need you to be a part of this. So if you know a Masters at Work, a hair hero, if you want to do an educational video, then we're all for it, because we also want to share these videos not just in the Hair Show. We have a really healthy channel going on now that we want to build. So that video, I believe, Jemima, we are going to be there's a longer video, isn't there, where she explains about that?
Yes, so she talks about the reasoning behind it and her journey as well in a 5-minute video, which we'll be posting separately. It will be on the How to Cut It page on Facebook if you want to have a look at it, but we'll be only able to post it after this live. And guys, this hair show is important to note that this is not sponsored by anyone, so we don't have any alter motivations. This is just literally 3 hairdressers and Dan in their living rooms with a ring light, and we want to make this an enjoyable entertainment show for you. So yeah, suggestions are totally welcome. Wherever they come.
Sorry, you guys can't see it. Well said there, Jordanna. Janet's just said, which link, please, for the competition? Just scroll up the link, Janet, and Dan has put the link in there for the competition to enter that. All right, so just go and click on. It's very simple. It just takes you through to a form. Just put your name in, and that is it. And once you've done it, you don't have to do it again, and you're then can be part of our competitions going forward. And then we pick up random. So thank you again, Jazz, who's watching in, putting the comments in the Lux, Kerra Strait, such a friend of the show. So thank you. This honestly. This, you know, when you do something and you feel like you are doing something just so right, it feels so good. The three of us, you know, I've got to say, we absolutely love bringing you. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to say anybody does but putting this together is a lot of work. But it's something that I feel is going to become really a staple part of the hair industry every Monday, because I used to love the Hairdressers Journal every Friday, and big shout out to Jane at Hairdressers Journal, good friends of the show. But you look forward to saying, and I want you to find this Monday night becomes that part for you where you just say, oh, the hair show's on, then friendly faces are there, and, you know, we can all talk. Isn't that right, George?
Every Monday, you know, we are I'm in my porch, Jordanna's in the living room, Dom's in his studio. You know, we start this at like 9 a.m. on a Monday. It's a full week of prep. Like, we are in different parts of the country right now, trying to bring this to you, and we just do it for the love of what we do. So we're always open to suggestion, and we're always open to make it better. We're only the third episode in, but we do this because of the passion and the love that we have for this industry, and not for anything else. So, you know, it is challenging because it takes up an entire day. I've got 3 kids under 8. It's like a secondary school in my house, and we just want to work together and bring you the best content possible. So we need your input, we need your kind of suggestions moving forward to make sure that every week we're bringing you something fresh, we're bringing you something exciting. You know, you are a bigger part of the show than anything else, because your input and your suggestions actually make our show, don't they, guys? You know?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, that's wonderful. So well said there, George, and brilliant. That's fabulous. Can't think of anything better to finish on, but I'm going to finish on something else in a minute. But so we're just going to, as we say goodbye to you two delightful ladies. So, Jordanna, what's your week looking like? What's grabbing your eye for the week ahead?
The week ahead, I've got a live with Wella on Thursday. I've got a lot of prep to do for the salon, including rotors and finding out how these are going to work. And I'm just hanging on to the next announcement from the government as to our guidelines for PPE.
Great. Well, thank you, Jordanna. And what about you, George? What's your week looking like? And come over to the right here or left. You're going over there again. Come on, over here in the centre.
Sorry, I've got a live with the one and only Jez Barnett. So from Inner Lux and Kerra Strait. So we're going live on Thursday at 4:30. So if anyone wants to watch that, then we'll be on Instagram. And then I've got to get a centre unit made for my salon. I've got to get it painted. Oh, it's unreal, actually, the amount of work I've got to do. But I'm excited for it. And then I'm waiting for the government guidelines.
Great. Well, okay, come on, audience. Before I say our final farewells, show your love and appreciation to our 2 wonderful hosts, Georgia Bell and Jordanna Cobella. Lots of love, hearts, likes, and we'll see you next week, ladies. Keep in touch with them. Okay, thank you. Have a great week. Bye. Bye. There they go. So that is it. Another week of the hair show. What a fantastic show this is. Really, honestly, I'm loving it. I feel so good with internet connections held up brilliantly. That's been a big part of it, and you know, we've been working on this and we're going to keep building on this, as we said. So June, make sure to not miss this show. The best way to do it is actually like the Facebook page, How to Cut It. I know many of you are on the How to Cut It hairdressing community. Keep in there. We're going to repeat it in there as well. We're on Instagram, How to Cut It. Follow us on all these channels, because we, as I say, this kind of started out as the podcast that I know many of you listen into, but it's kind of evolving. The whole How to Cut It brand is evolving into something very, very exciting, which is about you. So yeah, get involved. We have also our Young Guns, Hair Young Guns, with the lovely Lizzie Williams. So if you've got hairdressers 15 to 25, go and check out that group. She'd love to welcome you in to that group. And I've got to finish on today's podcast, because many of you, I know listening to the podcast. It's something I've been doing for the last 3 and a bit years, and I'm so proud of the podcast. And every week I bring onto the show leading names. Well, today's guest is one of hairdressing's most iconic names of the last 35 years, Charles Worthington. So to actually have an interview with Charles Worthington, and he shares his story, believe me, which is incredible, and we learn about his hair care range, how he went international, America, how his salon was used for Sex in the City. It's brilliant. So if you haven't listened to that podcast yet, please go and have a listen to it. You can find it online, www.howtocut.it/EP154. And if you're listening, go and listen on Apple iTunes. I need your ratings and reviews on there, by the way. So go and give us a rating and a review. It helps me really work out the show. So thank you so much. If you're watching this again on repeat, I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you all for you guys for tuning in. You are really part of this. I'm starting to feel a family coming along from this kind of whole vibe. So until next Monday, you know what I'm going to say. Peace, love and smiles all the way. Now over to TikTok.
So my client comes in and she wants her hair really, really white, but she is so damn gold near the root area. So I decided to go in with some foil. I used Osmo Elevation Bleach and 6% and put foils in. And then I put some more foils in. And you can see from my face that it takes a long ass time to put all these foils in. But it was going to be worth it. So I kept going and finally got everything in and let it develop and then washed it off, and I crapped my pants because the root was really bright orange and the ends were green. So yeah, I panicked and then put a toner on, and yes, it went super white. So I took some videos for TikTok and some photos for Instagram, and then decided this will look super cute curly. So then I curled my client's hair and I was so right, it looked super cute. So yes, that is my client's transformation that I did.
Hello, this is how you make a visor at home. First use the laminating pouches and put through the laminator. Then cut the face shape out with scissors. Use a hole punch to punch 2 holes at the top of the mask. Then use clips and elastic to fix to your head. Be safe, everyone.